are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's it? Just mm-hmm.
Well, that's a big question. Okay, we don't want to take up too much of the interview. How am I? I'm anxiously awaiting the release of my record. So,
I've heard.
yeah, I've got butterflies in my stomach.
Do you really, truly?
Sure.
Well, some of the songs are out.
Yeah, that's
already.
true, but not everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read some reviews today already, and they were quite good.
That's good.
Yeah?
Yes. But we can't put all of our eggshells into that carton, can we?
Eggshells, not
Yes.
eggs.
No, eggshells.
Just eggshells.
Crumble, yes.
Does, so if you actually have butterflies, does...
That means I care.
Understood. But does the success, what is the measure of success for this record for you?
I suppose that it would be that my intentions and the things I wanted to say, the messages that are in the songs, that to a certain extent people understand them and are inspired by them. I don't expect the whole world to be. It's not that kind of a record, but it will be great if at least a handful of people really appreciate it.
Well,
like a couple of handfuls, maybe.
All right. Maybe I could be the first
Handful?
in the handful because
Okay, yeah.
I was impressed.
Did you hear the whole record
Every single cut.
without looking at your phone?
No, I put my headphones on and I sat in a chair and listened to the whole thing.
Okay, good.
Is that okay?
But that's required. Yes. It's not background music.
No, not by any stretch of the
Yeah,
imagination.
you really have to pay attention.
So when you set out to do an album like this, do you have a big idea and say, I'm going to fill in the blanks? Or do you just say, this will work with this, that works with this, that works with that?
I had an idea in the beginning because I was living in Lisbon, and I was very inspired and influenced by all of this new music that I was hearing. Not all of it was new, because I've heard Fado before. My sister lived in Portugal for years, and she was always sending me Fado music. And I'd heard Morna before because I was a huge fan of Cesaria Evora. But to be surrounded by it all the time and to hear it every time I went out to a restaurant or a nightclub or a bar or anything, people are always playing music in Lisbon, in Portugal. It's a very musical country.
Yeah.
So, and there's so many different musical influences. So how could I, and I had no intention of making a record when I moved there, but I felt compelled.
And so you moved there because your son was playing soccer there?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. There's a lot of different flavors in the record.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like
Because I can't just make a song inspired by the Morna or Fado. It sort of moved around because my musical influences moved around.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so before I came, I just kept listening over and over to Medellin.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. That's fun.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Right? And
Maluma.
phenomenal.
Yes. Doesn't he sound amazing?
Well, both of you, when you sing the harmonies together?
Yeah, we sound good together.
I think so.
We make beautiful music together.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's a really good writer.
Yeah.
And respect to anybody who can keep up with me. So that's what really sealed the deal between me and him. Because while we were talking and texting and talking about like working together, somehow it came out that he loved to ride and that he had horses. And I said, get out of here, because I have horses too. So I said, show me a picture of your horse. So he sent me these photographs of these Frisians. And they're really well trained, and he does dressage with them, and they're really hard horses to ride.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I love you. We're working together.
May I make an observation? You have a patch on your arm.
Okay, yes, I do.
And there's an X on it.
Yes.
Madam X.
That's correct.
Right.
Really, really good observation, Harry.
Well, I'm a reporter. I've done this for a
Yes.
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's Madam X?
She's a spy. She's a secret agent. She travels the world. She changes her identity. She has, she sleeps with one eye open, and she travels through the day with one eye shut. She's actually been wounded, so she's covering up one of her eyes. Yeah.
How does that?
So I've turned my, I've made a lemonade out of a lemon. Yeah.
How does that identity inform what you're doing?
Well, I had to create a persona. Once I decided to reclaim the name Madame X, which was given to me by Martha Graham when I was 19, studying at her school. I was sitting in the recording studio, and I was actually having a chat with Jeremy Scott, who came to visit me, and we were talking about who my persona would be, or who is this person that's making this record. And I was thinking about how the music is so influenced by so many parts of the world, and each time I collaborate with somebody, or I work with another artist, or I just work with Mirwais, for instance, I have a different feeling. I feel a different type of way, but I'm still the same. So we were discussing my encounter with Martha Graham, and how she kept complaining that she couldn't identify me as a student in her class. And I felt the same way in that moment recording. So once I decided that my name, the name of my record was going to be called Madame X, I had to create a story that was sort of the beginning of Madame X's journey.
I have so many questions for you.
Sure you do.
Huh?
Sure you do.
Well,
I have so many answers.
you do, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as we're in this relationship together.
Yes.
Because you know what? I
You're
feel.
the interrogator.
Oh, well, do you look at me like an interrogator?
Well, all journalists are. Some are more charming than others.
And
Some are more cultured than others. Some listen better than others.
where do I fit?
You're on the good side, don't worry.
Just because we're old neighbors, perhaps.
We're friends.
We're drifting, though. All right.
I've been stuck on the other side of the ocean.
Right. How anxious are you to get back to New York?
I'm looking forward to it. I miss it. I miss those tall, intimidating buildings. Yeah.
And you're going to perform where?
You mean next month or my tour?
That's the tour next month.
Next month I'll be performing at Pride Island, 50th anniversary of Pride. So I'll be part of a festival. I know other artists will be there. I think Mickey Blanco is going to be performing there too, which is great.
Yeah.
As you know, he's my Joan of Arc in Dark Ballet.
Right.
So, yeah, so that's going to be the first place.
As I kept looking, as I looked at the videos and I listened to the album, I read through the lyrics, and I was trying to figure out, it feels like to me, you're on a kind of a high wire of, you're fierce and simultaneously vulnerable.
Yes. Of course.
Do I have that right?
You do.
Yeah. How
I think
can
that's-
both be in balance?
Well, it depends on which one you feed. I mean, I have my days where I feel like a warrior and invincible, and I have my days where I feel like an open wound. But that's human, isn't it? And also, I think that is that's the journey of an artist. Because if you don't make yourself vulnerable, you can't channel creativity, right? And a lot of my pain, my sorrow, my suffering, my feelings of being vulnerable allow me to create. However, then I have to present it to the world, and then I have to be a warrior and stand up for what I believe in, regardless of what people have to say about what I have to say. And also, my strength needs to come through in my work, because I want to empower other people. So, I mean, that's the paradox of life. I don't think there's a person who's just a warrior, or just a fighter, or just strong. I think probably all
As I was listening to some of the lyrics of the songs, I kept thinking to myself, there was just this amazing defiance in you that's been there from
day one.
Yeah? Right?
Yes.
Do you know where that comes from?
I really don't know. It started when I was a child. Yeah. Came from the water in Bay City, Michigan. I don't know. It came from not wanting to be provincial, prosaic, and pedestrian. And I was very aware that that was the possibility of my future and my surroundings. Yeah.
And you said,
And I just kept, my nature was to question everything. Why? Why are we doing this? Why do I have to dress this way? Why do I have to go to church every Sunday? Why do the girls have to do all the cleaning in the inside of the house and the boys have to do all the cleaning on the outside of the house? Why do the boys have no rules and the girls have a curfew? Why, just everything was a big why. And I don't know why, but it just was there.
I'm listening to these songs and looking at the videos, and the religious symbolism that's always been there too.
Because God is always there, taunting me, daring me. And the God that I believe in, the God that I believe created the world, isn't a God to fear. It's a God to give thanks to, and a God to question and challenge. Yeah, like Moses did. He talked back to God. I don't know if you've ever read the Old Testament. But.
That's why he struck that rock with his staff, and it was not allowed into the promised land.
I know, but there's deeper meanings to that if you read literally. But he was, not just him, there are other sages and prophets that, quote unquote, talk back to God.
Right.
And challenge his or her, or they, or Madam X's authority.
Jesus on the cross, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He felt lost and abandoned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that? I guess for me, in all of that notion that while it has riled so many religious people, you still keep going back to that spot.
Well, because it's a big part of my life. I was raised in a deeply Catholic household, and religion and faith and prayer and sacrifice is in my DNA. So I'm enthralled by it and I'm repelled by it. So
Simultaneously.
yes.
Yeah. Is there a moment when your creative juices aren't churning?
No, because even being a mother requires creativity. Yeah.
How
Even making the bed requires creativity.
How has having 6 children informed your life?
It's reminded me how precious time is. And how each child requires attention and vigilance and guidance in a different way. And really, you have to be ready for anything. And children teach you, obviously, everyone says that. Of course, first and foremost, they teach you to stop being obsessed with yourself, because they're always there to throw a wrench into the works.
So stop being what?
Obsessed with yourself.
Right.
Yes. Self-obsession's not allowed with children. Yeah.
They need you more.
They need you. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you could turn
They need you more than you need you. Yes.
Well, and that's just as a parent, I
Yeah.
know, sort of in retrospect.
Yeah.
I think when I look back and want to rewind the reels,
Yes.
yeah, a little less. I think that's a place we all.
And the more kids that you have, the better you get at being a parent.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. Of course, but it's like everything. The more songs I write, the better I get as a songwriter.
Does that mean you need to have some more kids?
Not right this second, but never say never.
All right, we'll underline that one, right?
7 is a lucky number. Yeah. And the psychic did tell me once that I'm going to have 7 children.
Wow.
Yeah. So who knows?
Yeah. Is your life fuller now?
I mean, now because why?
Well, you've done this a long time. You have this house full of kids. You know, I'm listening to some of the songs. One of the songs is about, the craving and this kind of search for happiness and fulfillment and all these things that continue to be in your music. And it sounds like to me you are still hungry.
I am. I'm ravenous.
Do you know what you're hungry for?
Knowledge,
Yeah.
experience, adventure, love, everything.
Are you in love now?
I am.
Yeah. How's that?
None of your business.
I don't read tabloids. I have no idea.
No, you are the tabloid right now. You don't need to read.
Oh, I was being the
You just
tabloid?
want to plug right into the energy source.
Phew. Wow. Bang. I
I mean,
think I was,
what's not good about being in love?
it's all I'm asking about.
But I also could be fibbing. That's the thing.
Right.
But I didn't look away when you talked to me.
Yeah.
When I asked you a question earlier, I just want you to know you looked away, and that's a tell. So at some point during this interview, you didn't tell me the truth, but I'm not going to tell you when it was. I met this mentalist in Tel Aviv when I was there for Eurovision, and he taught me some things.
Right.
Yeah, so watch out. Don't
Now
take your eyes off of me.
Well, I'm sure not now. I'm going to have to go back and look at this tape and see when I looked away.
You will.
Is it possible that I was just really thinking
Nope.
about the answer?
Nope. Nope. Let's keep asking questions because time is precious.
I'm not sure I can anymore. I'm afraid to.
Don't be afraid. You can cut it out. You're in charge of the interview.
I have one more.
What?
Do you know how much you mean to people?
No, that part I don't know. Because I probably mean lots of different things to different people. And
Right.
I'm not in their brain. And I'm sure people are conflicted about the way they feel about me. Because I think I push a lot of buttons. So I'm not sure how much I mean to people. And people aren't always straightforward about how they feel. So that's hard to gauge also.
In people that I know in my life, you are deeply meaningful. And it's a range, including a woman who just celebrated her 60th birthday, who couldn't stop talking about you and your creativity and your courage. And gay men and people of all kinds of stripes for whom you are really important.
That's good to know.
Is there any weight with that?
Well, that again is a paradox because one feels a great sense of responsibility when one knows the world is listening, paying attention, when you know that you can influence people, help people, raise people up, change someone's course of life, make someone take a different path. On the other hand, you can't get too caught up in caring so much what people think also, because then there's too much noise in your head and you can't make your own decisions. You're too influenced. So you have to, again, like you said before, walk that tightrope of caring and not caring, of desire and detachment, of, understanding and not understanding. Everything, absolutely everything is a paradox, and I hope that comes through in my record also.